welcome to the Dudeist journey. I'm your host, the Reverend Phillip K. And this here is our. I was trying to do a bi-weekly podcast, but I'm lazy. I'm not doing too well on that because I'm still dealing with the grief and the depression and all that fun stuff. But before we get started, I just wanted to remind everyone that Buddhism is more of a philosophy than a religion. It is technically a religion, according to the U.S. government. And yes, this podcast is technically an online ministry. I do have tax-exempt status, and we are working on being able to take donations. We've taken some donations so far, so we're going to keep working on it, keep pushing forward. A chunk of our money goes to, we just paid off a bunch of medical debt. I went to there was this place, RIP Medical Debt, but now they're called Undue Medical Debt or something like that. So we went and we were able to pay off $2,500 of medical debt for folks out there. So, woo, while trying to cover the expense of everything else. We're now broadcasting from Podbean, trying to get away from Spotify, but it's still there. I'm not trying to rule them out. I just don't like Spotify's whole let's rob from the poor and give to the rich. It's like, you stole my $4.18 so you could give Joe Rogan $10 million. Well, fuck you. All right, so as we get into this episode here today, I like to remind folks that the whole reason I'm doing this here, man, is I lost my little brother in 2020 to an overdose, and I lost my wife to cancer in 22. So I have been dealing with grief, depression, stress, all that stuff, insomnia. Can't sleep, man. Trying. I just need a lot of drugs. I mean, shit. I'm remodeling my bathroom. I'm trying to do some things. Change it up a bit. Because, when you're married as a dude, as a man, in a marriage with a woman, the woman gets like automatic, say in how the house is decorated. She gets the interior design crown. And the king don't get to say nothing. So, like, for instance, I'm remodeling my bathroom right now. And in my toilet room, specifically that tiny room where the toilet is, that's where most of my paintings are because my wife wouldn't let me put them up around the house because they didn't match the decor. So I've got all these paintings now in my toilet room, like, hey, I could put these anywhere. And I'm like, where the fuck am I going to put them? Got to figure this shit out now. I got a book on interior design, so I'm going to figure it out. Going to learn some things. Going to make it happen, man. Going to make it happen. Oh. But, yeah, things have been tough, I'm kind of stepping away from the whole dating thing. I've tried dating, but it's just at this point now, I've had a lot of bumps, and the last sort of meetup I had. So there's this lady friend I have, and I was like, I never really had the guts to kind of ask her up, but I just thought, you know what, just go ahead and throw it out there. So I was like, hey, you want to meet up sometime and chat and stuff? I'd love to pick your brain about a few things. And she was like, okay, sure, let's go to brunch. And I was like, all right, cool. Now, I have male friends, and my male friends tend to give me advice that sometimes is correct and sometimes is not. So I tell my buddy, about the brunch meet, and he's like, oh, no, you can't go to brunch. Dude, women take their friends to brunch, not men that they want to date, So, he's like, why did you agree to brunch? And I'm like, hey, I thought you wanted to get drunk at 10 a.m. on a weekend like I did, you know what I'm saying? It's like, brunch is the only meal where it's socially acceptable to get drunk at 10 a.m. in the morning. Seriously, it is. It's awesome. Like, brunch used to be just on Sunday. Now it's Saturday and Sunday. That's how much we like getting drunk. But I was like, I didn't think of it as a date, so to speak, because of the fact that it was like no one said date. And when I talk to my lady friends, or the oracles, as I like to call them, the oracles are like, if no one says date, it's not a date. Okay? And so I do a little post on my Facebook joking about this, and my Facebook is private, so only my friends and family can see it. And sure enough, a lot of the ladies said, hey, if she's inviting you to brunch, I mean, okay, so technically not a date, but still at the same time, if things go well, then you could hang out for the whole day. So don't really consider it, you might not so much be in the friend zone, so to speak. It's more of like a pre-date, kind of like a pre-screening employment interview kind of a thing. Which I get. But despite all the hubbub, she unfortunately kept canceling because she's got work and she's busy. So I was like, all right, just hit me up whenever. And that's never happened. I'll tell you, man, there is some truth, because I get a lot of videos and content about being single, and some of the advice women have, it's fucking ungodly. Some women are horrible, some men are horrible advisors. Like this one woman was talking about, there's no good men out there, and this man interrupted her and said, yeah, there are good men out there. There's good men at the gas station. There's good men at the Costco. There's good men anywhere. It's just that good men don't want your ass. And I swear to God, I was like, there it is. There it is. And me, I get it. I'm a bit of what they call a Chernobyl. I was in a relationship where something bad happened. My wife died, and now I'm fucked up. I got a scar. I got a hole in my heart. I'm missing the other part of myself. And the thing that I'm starting to realize, the reason why I'm not sleeping is because I don't feel safe. When you have a partner, man, because me and my wife were together for 22 years, okay? We met in high school and shit. When you have a partner, you feel safe because you've got someone. Someone's got your back. Someone's got your best interest at heart. Someone is there to take a fucking bullet for you and help you through the worst part of your life. There is a comfort that comes with that. And that comfort helped me to sleep. And now that it's gone and it's all on my shoulders now, ugh. Jesus, it is not easy. Oh, which reminds me, by the way, when someone loses their loved one, okay, I lost my wife. I had people telling me some of the dumbest shit. It's like, there are some things that you should just not say to a person who's grieving. You absolutely should just shut the fuck up and say, I'm sorry for your loss, and leave it at that, okay? Because, you have people coming up saying, oh, I know exactly how you feel. My dog died 3 years ago. And I'm like, your dog? Bitch, really? Really? Your fucking dog? And I understand that pets are close and everything else, but I'm like, I had a wife for 22 years. Okay? You had your dog for what, 10? Okay? And it's a fucking dog. It's like, you haven't gone through the fucking hardships of having to love another person, because it's not fucking easy to love another person. You're going to have differences. You're going to have problems. You're going to have fights. It's going to happen. If your dog fights with you, you just slap him and stick him in the corner. It's like, I can't do that shit. It's like, what the fuck? The other thing I fucking hate is when people tell me it's all part of a plan. It's all part of God's plan. Really? This is God's plan? Really? Well, if you ask me, God's plan is fucking chaos, because this is some bullshit, okay? I don't think it's a plan. I think it's all chaos, because from my experience, that's what it's been. It's been fucking chaos, okay? The other quote I fucking hate is when they're like, they're in a better place. No shit, they're in a better place, fuckhead. My wife's up in heaven, zipping around the whole universe, free as a bird. I'm stuck on Earth with 2 kids and a fucking mortgage, okay? Yeah, you're right, she's in a better place. Don't fucking remind me, the lucky bitch. Yeah, I needed a drink after that. So, yeah, just when someone loses their spouse, loved one, their child, just say, I'm sorry for your loss. If you need anything, let me know, okay? And I fucked around with people because some people are like, if there's anything you need at all, anything at all, let me know. And I'm like, oh, well, I actually need a new roof now that you mention it. If you could come over on Wednesday with some shingles and tar, that'd be fucking great, yeah. Yeah, so needless to say, it hasn't been fun because grief comes in waves. Some days the waters are clear and calm, path is clear. And other days you're in a storm and you don't know which end is up. I got these days, man, where I just don't want to get out of bed. And then there's some days I'm working from dusk till dawn. And I just had a bad, I don't know. I think it was just like the fact that it was like the whole brunch thing got canceled again and all that. I don't know. I'm just taking a step back from the whole dating thing. I'm not even going to fucking try at this point. Probably going to delete any accounts there, so to speak. I'm just stepping back and stepping away. It's obvious to me, I still got a lot of shit I got to deal with. I have a lot of shit I got to fix. So I'm going to try just working on that for right now. And while my insurance claims they cover mental health services, there isn't a single mental health service that accepts the insurance because they quit taking it. It's because the insurance never paid them. Talked to a dozen different fuckers, man. I was like, what in the hell? Really? And what's funny is that if you talk to the therapist, and if you say you want to do just cash, you'll pay less. Isn't that fucking crazy? Oh, that is the world. But while I'm in this whole funk and state, just dealing with all this shit, I have these days where I have to admit, I don't give a fuck. And we're going to talk about that today. I found teachings from a Mr. Brown who runs this Buddhist center, and he has embraced what he calls the art of not caring. Ways to live a happy life. And I said, okay, well, you call it not caring. I call it not giving a fuck. All right. Once again, this program is not for children. All right, so let's dive in, and let's talk about that today. How do we not give a fuck, okay, so we can lead a happier life? Because right now, I need a lot of drugs in order for me to do it, you know what I'm saying? There ain't just soda in this cup, brother. Be like those moms with the big Sonic cups, You think they're going there because they want a big soda. No, they want a big container to shove a ton of tequila in and they can drink it. Smart, though, ladies. Smart. I'm going to give it to you. So there's a list. It's 8 simple ways. We'll see how simple they are. But let's go ahead and let's dive into this, man. How can we live a happier life and care a little less? Okay, so the first thing is to embrace your imperfections, all right? It's, when you do this, Mr. Brown states, it's a game changer, okay? We often forget to appreciate the beauty of imperfection. We're constantly striving to lead this stress, this sort of dissatisfaction with our bodies, and it's creating some bad juju there, as you might say. So in order for us to kind of achieve inner peace and not give a fuck, we have to accept that nothing and no one, including ourselves, is perfect. And when you accept that, you let go. To comment on this as far as appearance goes, like, I remember this porn star was talking about, she goes, look, everyone's got stretch marks, everyone's got cellulite, everyone, it's like, nobody's fucking perfect, we've all got shit, okay? Embrace it, keep doing what you're doing, all right? Now, you can always have improvement, you definitely want to stay healthy, but it's like, you got to kind of love yourself now, not the whole, I'll love myself when I have six-pack abs. No, love yourself now, and then you will achieve the six-pack abs, okay? Find the beauty in imperfection. All right, because, and I always tell this with people, because I have a friend that's just like, oh my God, who would date this woman? And I'm like, dude, there is a whole section on every porn site dedicated to women like her, okay? Like, she's got her own category. She is her own kink. Do you understand that? That's the power right there, okay? So if you find yourself stressing over any of these flaws, man, just take a deep breath and remind yourself it's okay. All right, embrace that imperfection and move on. All right, this is going to be your first step in mastering the art of not giving a fuck. Chipotle burritos. Okay. Second step. Okay, practice mindfulness. Okay. Now, this is about being present in the moment. Don't let your thoughts and feelings wander. Okay. You have to acknowledge your thoughts and feelings without any judgment. Just in that presence and time, okay? You have to be able to discern what truly warrants your care and attention, okay? So a guy cuts you off in traffic or some shit. Yes, you have a right to be angry. Go ahead and be angry in that moment. But don't let it ruin the whole fucking day. Be angry in that moment. Let it go. Move on, okay? Because we can find ourselves fretting over the past and worrying about the future. And in doing so, we end up caring far too much about things we can't control. It can be exhausting, and it's not worth it. So this being present, practicing the mindfulness, dudes, that cuts out, some of the noise there. Cuts through it even. It'll help you understand yourself better, to identify those things that really matter to you. And there are there's a quote here from Thich Nhat Hanh. I'm pretty sure I didn't pronounce that correctly. And he says that the present moment is filled with joy and happiness. If you are attentive, you will see it. So this goes back to the whole, take 5 minutes a day to kind of just meditate or something. I mean, people recommend, 15 to 20. Some recommend an hour to 2 hours. But I'm going to say definitely try it. It does help with those tough times, man. And remember to just be happy you got today. Be happy you're still going. Yeah, the guy cut you off in traffic, but hey, at least your car is still running, okay? My car got a flat the other day. I fucking went to the store, came out, flat freaking tire. Ugh. And luckily there was a tire shop in the parking lot, so I fucking drove. And you know what? You know something is wrong with your car when you drive past people and they stop and stare at you. This one guy was trying to flag me down, like, you got a flat. I'm like, I know, I'm going to the tire place. He's like, oh, okay. All right, great. Fun times, yeah. But I got the tire fixed. I put a new tire on, but I think the wheel might be square from how the freaking the truck's riding now. Jesus. Try to give it some time because it's one new tire. The other 3 are not new tires, so I'm trying to figure it out. Anyway, let's go into the step number 3 in practicing the art of not giving a fuck. And that is understand the nature of suffering. Okay, so once again, this is a Buddhist talking, okay? So in Buddhism, there are 4 noble truths, all right? And one of those truths is that life is suffering. Let's just face it, you're going to suffer. You're going to have pain. Things are going to suck. Life is not fair. It's going to happen, okay? Now, while this might sound rather pessimistic, it can also be actually quite liberating, all right? Once you know that everyone suffers and it's not just yourself, then you don't look at those bad moments with so much weight and so much gravity. You know what I mean? They don't mean as much when you realize, hey, we're all going to suffer. Like, when I was a kid, my bike got stolen, okay? It totally sucks, right? End of the world shit for a kid to get their bike stolen. But I also know that I wasn't the only kid who's gotten their bike stolen. Other kids have. It does suck. And you end up forming like a tighter group of friends because we were the kids who got our bikes stolen. We got our own support group going on here. And so that is that's something, just as a little brief example there, that there is pain. And I think that's one thing that helped me after my wife passed. I was just in so much pain, and I'm just like, when do I feel normal again? When does this go away? And the answer is it doesn't. The pain is with you forever. And I have to tell you, I felt relieved because at least now I know. Because I'm sitting here waiting for a day that I'm going to feel better. The fact is that day's not going to come. There's this quote by David Lynch, one day the sadness will go away, but today is not that day. And I'm like, yeah, that's where I'm at, friend. Thank you, Mr. Lynch. But please make movies that make sense, all right? To people, not just you. All right. But so we have to learn to let go of attachments. It's a big thing there in Buddhism. And by having less attachments, you reduce the suffering in turn. Once again, I understand that, but at the same time, it decreases you from living life. Like, if I wanted to be free of suffering, okay, so I never should have fallen in love with my wife. I never should have married her or been with her, Because, that's essentially, it's like, well, you should have no attachment. This is why Buddhist monks live a celibate life alone on top of a hill of a fucking mountain in the middle of fucking nowhere, okay? But I've learned to understand that, yes, suffering is a part of life, but it's not the only part. It's typically a small part compared to all the other times. Like, yes, I'm going to be grieving, and I'm going to be sad. I'm going to be dealing with this pain, and I don't even know for how long. But I know it's not going to feel as amazing or the time be as long as that I had with my wife. she brought the sun into my world. I had no light. I was living in the darkness before she showed up. And I'm sorry, I wouldn't trade that, man. I did everything I could to make sure I had no regrets. Yeah, I still got some, but because I was so understanding that, one day she could be gone, I did everything I could to try to be, super husband, best partner ever kind of a thing. And that really, helped in our relationship. The fact that I valued it so much and appreciated it so much. And I showed that appreciation. I'm not going to get too deep. I'm going to start crying here. Okay. All right. So, as I was saying, it's okay to suffer. It's okay to feel pain. It's what makes you human, man. All right? But when you recognize it, just you can start to learn to let go of that. Because the pain, focusing on it is not going to help you. It's true. It's not. Like, if I listen to Creedence Clearwater Revival, I'll feel good. But if I turn on and listen to a bunch of sappy love songs, I'm going to be crying the whole car ride, Got to turn the channel, man. Got to turn the channel sometimes. So let's get into the fourth step here of the art of not giving a fuck. And that is to cultivate self-compassion. So let's talk about self-compassion here for a minute. Now, the Buddhists say it's crucial in this world today, all right? So mindfulness teaches us to observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment, but often we are our own worst critic. Totally true here. We judge ourselves harshly. We care too much about other flaws, our mistakes, our shortcomings, what other people think. This is where self-compassion comes in. It's being kind to yourself in moments of pain or failure. Understand that everyone makes a mistake. It's okay to be imperfect, like we spoke about before. Now, once again, this realization can be liberating, all right? By being self-compassionate, you let go of the self-criticism and the self-doubt. Stop caring so much about being perfect. Accept yourself as you are. We find ourselves, dwelling on mistakes or a flaw, but remember, be kind to yourself. Forgive. Let it go. You're doing the best you can. It's okay. That's the practice of self-compassion. I know when my little brother died of an overdose, a lot of me and my family, we all felt guilty, like we should have done more. And while we're in this process of forgiving my little brother for all his transgressions over the past, I reminded everyone that we need to forgive ourselves. We did everything we could. We all tried. Some more than others, yes, but we all tried. Every single one of my siblings, my parents, family, other extended family and friends, we all tried to help my little brother. It just, when that Oxycontin got in his system, man, that was it. That was fucking it. Remind me to shoot the Sackler family. All right, let's keep going here. The art of not giving a fuck. Here's tip number 5, and that is learn to live with minimum ego. Okay. Might sound a bit tricky, but I promise it's a key aspect of not giving a fuck. So we often care too much because our ego is involved. We want to be right. We want to be admired. We want to be seen in a certain way. And this can cause a great deal of stress and unhappiness. Now, the idea around this is simple. Reduce your ego, okay? Bring it down a few notches here. And when you do that, you're going to free yourself from the constraints of self-centered thinking, all right? You become more open, more compassionate, and ultimately happier, You're talking with someone, hey, maybe I'm wrong. Let me listen to their side. What evidence and data and facts do you have that could help change my mind, And not try to be so much, I need to be right, Let the ego go down a notch, all right? Now, what you can do now is kind of take a moment to reflect on those actions. Think about times that you feel your ego really drove everything, all right? Think about how you approach things. Was it the right way? Because this isn't about being passive or submissive. It's about being authentic and having a little bit of humility. Like I said, in reference to the argument, Because I keep I'll have arguments. I've had arguments with people, family members and stuff about things. And every time we get into this, they just... it's like they don't want to just be like, oh, okay, you've got a point. They don't do that. They'll just write you like, whatever, you don't understand it. It's like, no, I understand completely. It's you that don't understand because you don't want to listen to any other opinion but your own. And when you sit there and actually because, like, okay. So, like, for instance, I had a debate with a friend about, what was it? About them having religion in schools. And I'm like, look, if you want your kid to be taught, in a religious school setting, then you have to send them to a religious school. But you're going to have to pay for it. That's not our fault. That's the religion's fault. Okay, that's the religion doing that. All right. And he says, well, and so he's pushing on this that we need to put a religion in schools. Like, this is going to fix everything. I'm like, no, probably taking the phones out of the classroom would probably do better than putting Jesus in there. But he says, we need our religion in schools. And I said, okay, which one? Because there's more than one religion. And he's like, well, the Christian religion. I said, okay, the Christian religion. Which one? Baptist, Mormon, Catholic, Presbyterian, Evangelist. I mean, I got news for you, man. They all are Christian organizations, and they all hate each other. They literally think they're right and everyone else is wrong. Every church, if I go to a church of a different denomination, at some point that church is going to mock another denomination at some point. So which one? And that's when they get stuck. They're like, and I'm like, yeah, so how about we leave religion, which is more of a moral compass, let's leave that to the parents. And let's leave the basics like reading, writing, and math to the teachers, okay? You want to help a teacher? Give them some money, all right? Don't throw the fucking Bible at them. So as we go now into step 6 of not giving a fuck, let us recognize the impertinence of all things. Now, so there's a fundamental truth in Buddhism, and that is everything is impermanent. So every feeling, every situation, every person, well, they're all temporary. And this is not a cause for despair, but rather a reason to let go of the unnecessary care and worry. And we've talked about this. Things are temporary. Even the suffering that you have in life is temporary. You're going to have good moments, really wonderful moments in between that suffering. Okay. Now, we often cling to our happiness. We fear that we lose our happiness. And whenever we have pain, we can't just wait for it to end. But the clinging and the resistance kind of leads to suffering in itself. And I know that if I'm sitting here not accepting the fact that my wife is gone, it's going to create more pain and problems for my family. I can't resist what's happened. I have to accept that it's happened. And by reminding myself that it's temporary, I know that there are better days ahead, and the only way out is through. And I'm just going to have to deal with this. So you have to understand, you got to accept that everything is fleeting. We stop taking things so personally, stop caring too much about what we don't have control over, And I know it could be a tough thing to consider or accept. But once again, like the other steps, it can be liberating. All right? Recognize that this whole recognition of everything being temporary or impertinence, it frees us from the burden of clinging and allows us to live more fully in that present moment. Whatever you're going through, good or bad, it's temporary. Breathe, have a smoke, have a drink, take it easy, and you can find peace and happiness. Now let's go down into our 7th lesson of not giving a fuck, and that is to let go of expectation. I had to do this one recently. Like I said, with the whole dating thing, I have zero expectation. That's what's helped me. So even though I was kind of sad that, hey, the whole brunch thing didn't happen or the date didn't happen, I'm like, hey, I had no expectations. And I have some friends that they're like, they don't do anything for a woman, and unless they know they're getting like a return on their investment, so to speak. But I know that I'm not always going to get a return. As an investor, I know I'm not always going to get a return. And that's okay. Because sometimes I've noticed with some ladies that I've dated just this last year, and things didn't work out. But by being a gentleman and being kind and being generous, it gives them a boost of confidence. And I have seen some of them go out and they find other partners that were more fitted perfectly for them than I was. And I'm like, well, right fucking on. There you go, girl. Because to me, I've always been like, hey, I'd rather you were happy with someone else than miserable with me. So one thing that's been helping me on this whole dating scene is just to let go of expectations, all right? We often care too much because we're clinging to how we think things should be, When I got stood up, yeah, did it hurt? It sucked. But I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm at the dinner. I'm going to have me a nice steak and drink me some whiskey, you know? I was like, I'm going to have me a party for one. Get that dessert just for me. And so, but, you know, because we have expectations for ourselves and for others in life, but reality doesn't always meet these expectations. And then we feel disappointed, frustrated, angry. And so by teaching the whole, like, just of letting go of these expectations, you accept things as they are without judgment or resistance. And it doesn't mean that you stop striving for growth or improvement, but you do so from a place of acceptance rather than expectation. Like I said, if you want if you're going with this mindset of I'm not going to love my body until I have six-pack abs, you're not going to get six-pack abs. So love your body now and work towards the six-pack abs, and then you'll get them. And so as many other Mr. Brown, or as another Buddhist teacher, Mr. Pema Chodron, I forget it. I know I'm mispronouncing it. But he said letting go gives us freedom, and freedom is the only condition for happiness. I feel that. I feel it. I understand. So when we release these expectations and accept life as it is, you stop caring about things that don't truly matter. You focus more on the present moment. So take a deep breath, let go of the expectation, and embrace the freedom. It's a liberating step towards a happy life. All right. Yeah, so like I said, man, I'm trying to do the same thing, and I've told this to people. I'm just like, look, I have no expectations. Whatever happens, happens, and I'm just cool with it. Rolling with the flow. A little rum and coke makes daddy happy. All right. So, and yes, I'm drinking. I don't know what, it's the afternoon right now. But I'm drinking right now because at 5:30 a.m. this morning, I had to deal with a crying 5-year-old who was bawling uncontrollably because I wouldn't let her bring a toy to school. A fucking toy. Had to do a lot of hugging to get her to calm down. And I can't take the word of a 5-year-old. I gotta email the teacher and be like, is someone bringing toys to school? Blah, 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 blah. Fucking shit. Anyway, so as we go into this last step in the art of not giving a fuck, this one's going to be a pretty difficult step for some. I know it's a difficult step for me, and that is to lean into discomfort, okay? To truly master the art of not giving a fuck, you have to lean into what discomforts you, okay? Mindfulness isn't just about finding peace in a pleasant experience. It's also acknowledging and accepting our discomfort and our pain and our negative emotions in that moment, in that time. We often care too much because we're trying to avoid discomfort. We resist what's uncomfortable, and in doing so, we give it more power. We get caught up in our worries, our fears, our anxieties. But what if we leaned into that discomfort? What if we acknowledged it without trying to push it away? It's not easy, I know, but it's incredibly freeing. By leaning into your discomfort, we realize that it doesn't have the power to control us. We understand that it's okay to feel uncomfortable and that these feelings will pass. So don't run from it. Walk into it, run into it, breathe through it, and through the mindfulness practice, you'll find a new layer of peace and resilience within yourself. I had to use this in my own life. I'm remodeling my bathroom. I've never laid tile before. I've never rerouted pipes before. I've never done any of this shit, but I'm doing it. Mostly thanks to YouTube videos. But it was a place I was not comfortable. And I leaned into that discomfort. And I learned. And as I learned, I got more confident and became more powerful in the whole thing. It really helped me overall, really kind of get into the fact that, yeah, you can learn new tricks. You can do new stuff. You can do cool things, man. It's all good. You can do it. Keep doing it. And that's what I'm doing now. I just recently bought a new tool. This is the thing. This bathroom was supposed to take a couple of months, and it's taken like a friggin' we're on month 9 right now. Because like I hurt my arm, I got injured. I had to wait for certain stuff to come in. My kids were on vacation. I wasn't able to get a lot done. Going back and forth. So anyway, I just got this new tool because I got to chisel the floor of the shower out, and I got to redo the whole thing because the house wasn't done correctly. Every time I pull a layer back, I find duct tape and chicken wire and shit, and I'm like, who the fuck built this fucking crap and shit? Some guy and his goddamn kids, I'll tell you right now. Piss me off. But, hey, what's done is done. It's here. Now I can fix it. I can bring the house up to code. I can make it better than it was before, safer than it was before, and more sturdy than it was before. So while it has been uncomfortable to deal with, at the same time, I'm knocking it down and I'm getting it done. I mean, I just installed a jacuzzi tub. Never thought I could have done that before. I was just going to do a regular standing tub. But I saw this jacuzzi tub on sale, and I said, fuck it. I'm going to figure it out. I rerouted power, waterproofed everything, did all this shit, rerouted the pipes and all that. And, you know, yeah, it drains slow, but still it drains. It works. You know, it's functioning. Other than that one little thing, I got me a fucking jacuzzi tub, brother. Shit. Get them jet streams on my back and my feet, baby. Make daddy feel good. So, just in a quick conclusion from Mr. Brown about the art of not giving a fuck. It's not about becoming indifferent or uncaring. It's about freeing yourself from the burdens of unnecessary worry and unnecessary stress, and focusing your energy on what truly enriches your life, what truly makes you be able to take it easy, dudes. Each of these steps is a journey in itself. It's going to take work. It's going to take practice. It's not going to be done overnight. Go through these steps, listen through them, and realize what can help you throughout the way. It's okay to stumble, man. You're going to fall. We're all human. Remember, embrace that imperfection. But while you're stumbling, just remember, you're stumbling forward. And that's all that matters. Doesn't matter which path you take as long as it's forward. So, dudes, why don't we take 5 minutes? 5 minutes to talk, to think on this, to meditate, to pray if you want, to just let this soak in. Just like, how can I not give a fuck a little bit more so that way I can increase my peace and the happiness of myself? So let's go ahead and we'll start that 5 minutes right now. And we're back. Well, I hope you took that time to soak in these 8 steps from the Buddhist Mr. Brown on how to not give a fuck or live a happier life. But I just want you to remember, folks, that, yeah, man, this world is tough. It's crazy. I mean, I'm dealing with a ton of shit, man. And I don't even know how I'm getting through it, but I am. And that's by allowing myself to be imperfect. I'm going to have some days where I don't want to get out of bed. I still do, but I'm just saying that, you know, if I'm tired, I let myself rest. Because I work from home. I work on my own schedule. So due to the fact I can make my own hours, I can make my own rules. And if I'm like, hey, take some time today to just chill, relax, and be good to yourself. And that's what I do. I take a day off. I take a personal day. That personal time, you know. And I hope you are able to do it too. So I hope that these steps help you into accepting yourself, to living a happier life, and putting yourself forward. Because none of us are perfect, man. And you know what? That's cool. Because I don't give a fuck. Thank you all for tuning in. And remember to take it easy. Because when you take it easy, the dude abides. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time.
From author Reverend Phillip K. comes your next must-read book, Nicholas of Myra, a novel available on Amazon. In Nicholas of Myra, a novel, immerse yourself in the life of the man we all know as Santa Claus. From the loss of his parents to being raised on a farm by his uncle, Nicholas's early life was marked by challenges. His journey led him to the Christian temple in Myra, where he became bishop in a time when Christianity was forbidden in the Roman Empire. Experience Nicholas's profound strength as he faces arrest, persecution, and the unimaginable loss of his loved ones. Despite being tortured and imprisoned, his unshakable faith and his message of love, compassion, and generosity shine as a beacon through the darkness. Nicholas of Myra, a novel, is a journey through history, revealing the roots of Christmas and its traditions. It's a story of faith that endures against all odds. Available in Kindle, paperback, and Kindle Unlimited. Nicholas of Myra, a novel from author Reverend Phillip K. Order your copy right now and discover the story of a lifetime.